If you were trapped in the least challenging and least meaninglessly long Roblox hobby, what would you do? Today we're going to break down the mistakes made and why you wouldn't beat Buzzsaw Bloodhouse 3.0. These girls, who apparently go to the same school as Yandere-chan does, are trapped in the most unforgiving obstacle course broadcasted to 6 sadistic perverts on the dark web, and getting out of it is what their lives depend on. Our first task is to get past a row of chainsaws that swing sequentially after one another, and if we're granting that we're skinny, we could have a chance under the saws using our legs and arms to pull us forward into glory. Another additional strategy would be to run past them. It seemed to work out swimmingly for the girl. In-game, however, you'd be most likely too physically exhausted and debilitated after coming here to completely avoid getting injured by this trap. Next, they're really spicing it up, with spikes protruding from the floor and a chainsaw in front of that. Lucky for us, the chainsaw goes back into its crevice at the same time the spikes come up from the floor, so we can jump through the trap. However, pretty much everybody facing this would be too nervous, jittery, and uncoordinated to properly pull off a long jump that's at least successful enough to get across the trap. You'd be way too exhausted and too busy processing where you are to actually do what's necessary to get out. This same trap repeats again. Then there's a nail gun in a room with a couple of blocks. Initially, the nail gun is positioned forward, but if you were facing this head on, there's no way you'd know it. Immediately pivot towards your direction, and good luck outrunning the nails or ducking behind cover in time. Then there's a rotating wheel of 4 spinning chainsaws with barbed wire next to it, and maybe you could long jump across this, but just hope you've finished your last will and testament. If you're some teenage girl who thought you were too young, sucks, I guess. Same thing with the next trap after that. It's just the same thing. There's another variation of this that has floors which are sloped towards the trap, and just hope you'll gain enough momentum to not only jump across, but also be able to stay on the opposite slope and muster up enough energy to run up and out of the room. Next, there's 2 chainsaws on each side of a wall, moving back and forth, so granting that you'd have enough rational thought to crawl under it, which you wouldn't. Hope you're not too nervous as to viscerally get up and end up getting yourself sawed up. Proceed carefully and slowly. The next trap is the final nail in your coffin if you hadn't died yet. It's essentially a bunch of platforms that switch between one side and the other. There's no way of predicting which platforms will fold near to the one you're already on, so it's pretty much up to decisiveness and sheer will to survive. Then there's a room of 2 nail guns and 3 blocks. Try your absolute best. Now for a change of pace, there's an obstacle that doesn't look like it's a jigsaw trap, which involves blocks that move in and out of a wall, and it's the player's goal to jump on each one of them so they act like stairs in a way. Granted that you don't fall, but that's in the first portion. Afterwards, the blocks move over barbed wire, and this is where you'll absolutely be dead. One strategy is to jump even when the block is right in front of you, and will stay there, so if the block you're already standing on moves back, you're already off of it. One drawback to this is that blocks above the ones you're supposed to be standing on can knock you off your trajectory. You're not gonna survive. Then there's 8 columns of 24 chainsaws in each corner of a room. This is going to take heavy coordination to get past. There's no way you're going to be able to know exactly where the chainsaws are in relation to where you are in the room, so say goodnight, I guess. And if you do get past it, you'll be temporarily deaf. There's then 6 chainsaws moving back and forth on walls. Use the same strategy. The section that succeeds that is absolutely impossible to get past, even if someone was put right in front of it and only required to conquer it. It's rotating circular saws suspended from the ceiling moving back and forth within a maze. Judging from how far the blades are above the floor, crouching most likely won't be an option. The options we do have are proning throughout the entire maze, and to fit through the right angles, you're probably gonna get cut badly here or there. The method we'd recommend is to just memorize the patterns of the blades, duck into parts where they don't go, and keep on analyzing the blades in front of you from there. Rinse and repeat until you're past this. Then there's a floor of spikes, but the spikes of all the panels don't all come up at once. It's a really simple pattern to memorize since half of the spikes come up at once, so the finesse here is to make sure you fully step into a panel, and it's best to be quick about it. You'll then be prompted with a screen saying you've survived your mission, and essentially the only thing you're rewarded with is a lifetime of PTSD. Granted that you haven't already Robloxed yourself as soon as you've gotten out of there, but what would you do? How would you beat Buzzsaw Bloodhouse 3? Let us know with a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching.